Hi, my loves, and welcome to another Hypergamy chat. First of all, I know I'm not exactly hypergamied out in my t-shirt, okay? But the hair is giving, the hair is giving, and so we got to talk about these things, okay? I've been away for a long time. I have not even made a hypergamy video in a while, but y'all know my brand. If you're new here, a lot of people call me Ocean. Welcome to Oceanaura. I don't just pull cards. We're going to be doing lots of things here. But I feel like what I talk about is spiritual hypergamy, because I think there is a spiritual aspect to hypergamy. So you can watch some of my older videos about the spirituality of dating up, or any of my hypergamy chat videos. But I wanted to talk about situationships, which I think, especially like in today's age, this new era, baby, most relationships are situationships. And what I mean by that is, you've just found yourself in a situation that has, high stakes, and that's why you're leaning into this word of relationship. But is there a real relationship in the foundation of what you're co-creating with this other person? Or are they just space filler? You know what I'm saying? I think there's a difference, and I think we don't, as a society, this feels like a pandemic in and of itself. We're not asking ourselves the real questions, and there's a lot of carts going out before the horses. There aren't even any horses. This thing is going nowhere. It is stationary. It is based in trauma bonding or just attachment versus connection. And so I wanted to tap into those things because I think it's important, most especially for women. I'm always doing these videos for women, primarily because it's not to bash men. We love men. It's to say, respect yourself more. It's to say, demand what you deserve more, because then when the stakes are really high and it's all on you, it's very, very taxing, my loves. It's very, very hard on us. And I just think that we deserve the best. I'm sorry, we just do. Because when it's time to figure it out, we figure it out. And we're the nurturers and the caregivers and the figure outers and the list goes on, etc., 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 baby. So before we even start to get into it, please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel so you always know when I'm posting, and let's get into it. So I was making notes, baby, so I'm going to read some of these off and we'll see. And you know what? Here, I poured myself a little bit of Prosecco. Cheers to you, darling. Cheers to us all, okay? I'm going to be sipping while we're chatting. So I wrote, and this goes back into the high stakes. Just because your situationship has high stakes, kids, joint bills, joint dwelling, codependency, toxic intensity, etc., does not make it a real relationship, right? It just means you have a lot to lose from this liability you overinvested in. And so what do I mean by that? What I'm saying is, and where a lot of this derived from was if you're single, people feel like you shouldn't even speak like that. This is why you're single, because your standards are astronomically high, and you don't even want a real relationship because what you're talking about doesn't really exist. And I'm like, is that true? Or are you just used to your toxic attachment style, trauma bonding relationships that you have now normalized? And so anything outside of that is like, well, at least I got a man. Well, at least I'm in a relationship. And it's like, is that what you would even call that? I don't know if I would want to sacrifice my singlehood for none of that. You know what I'm saying, you guys? So I just think, and when feelings get involved, it gets tricky. And I think that's why it's important to have boundaries to begin with, right? When I can be transparent and tell you that going back into like the dating world or going into like being open again to a relationship now that I've worked on myself, sometimes that is scary because it's like, I really hope I can continue to walk my talk. I really hope that when feelings enter the scene, or when another human being who I have to interact with enters the scene, that I can hold on to it. I know I absolutely will. But I want to give grace for the fact that we're all human. But grace or not, these things are important. These things matter. We should be co-creating the life we want and not just complaining about it, because a lot of people will watch these videos and yes girl and and then go into their relationship, you know, hit the X button on this video and go back into your relationship with this dusty who's coming up off you, with this person who's doing barely enough and you're trying to show up for in like full-blown wife capacity. I just think that that's extremely unhealthy. It's extremely unbalanced, and it usually doesn't garner the results you're looking for. And so this is why I always want to chat about it, because it's very interesting. But what I mean by that is like, you have a lot to lose, ladies, because when the chips are down, when this person isn't showing up for you, or you want to walk away, those high stakes make it harder to walk away. It entangles you further. I'm sorry, now every time I hear the word entangles or entanglement, it just makes me laugh, because was the word heard round the world, baby. But it overcomplicates things. And you know, it's funny, I was talking with my cousin about this. I was like, oh, I can't wait to make a video about this. That's going to be the video I go back with. She was saying, you know, but she's like, to your point, she's like, you know, I can't look back on any of my other relationships. And she's now married with children, happily married in a healthy marriage, right? And she's like, yeah, but I don't look back at any of those relationships and think, you know what's something I really regret? I really regret not moving in with them. And so like, that's one of the high stakes. It doesn't have to be the only high stakes, but you know, I'm sure if she doesn't at all regret not moving in with them, I'm very sure she does not regret not having children with them. Do you get what I mean? Like, I think sometimes we rush into doing things because we just want the feeling of having acquired that level of commitment without the actual commitment. Like, are you really connecting with this person? Are you guys aligned in your values and what really matters and what you really want? Or are you just each other's space filler? And so oftentimes for me, a lot of people are just in situations with high stakes and then they just can't walk away. Or it's like, it's so familiar to me, I wouldn't even know how to be single again. But being with yourself is the best thing before you try to force somebody else to be with you or want somebody else to be with you. Like, if you don't want to spend time with you, boo, why should somebody else? And vice versa. Like, if that person don't want to spend any time with themselves, why do you want to spend time with them, baby? So let's move on. And those things are over investments. Sure, you can move in with me, you know. Sure, I'll help you get your credit right. Sure, etc., etc., etc. If you're their come up, you're already in the wrong place, ladies. You're already off to a very bad start. Okay? I said, if you're doing most of the heavy lifting and doing the courting, you are in a situationship and suffering from pick-me mentality. And it's the truth. What happened to dating, guys? What happened? Don't you remember watching like shows, especially anybody who grew up in the 90s, right? Like, don't you remember in like the early 2000s, don't you remember watching shows and the kid gets the job, right? And it's a shitty job, but baby, he's got to get that first paycheck because he wants to take Cindy out, right? Or, you know, wants to take that lead ingenue out, baby, right? And he needs that check too, because he's got to buy that jalopy of a car. And yeah, it's a jalopy, baby, and this is for teenage people, okay? I'm not talking about grown folks, but I'm just saying, even it showed that even in the early stages of like learning to date, having your first boyfriend, that was like the, I don't want to say format, but that was like the preparations of like, let's begin the structure of what you should do when you really go out there looking for a mate as a grown man, right? He's like, can't wait to take her out. Man, that first check is going to this dinner. He wants to take her to the place with the white tablecloths and the candles on the table and the little rose and the fucking waiter. Like, he wants to go there with the girl. A lot of y'all don't even do date nights. You just like throw yourselves into these situationships, fucking turn the stakes up to 1,000. Just keep leveling up the stakes of the relationship without any foundation. And 9 times out of 10, boo, it comes crumbling down. And all of the things that you wanted to matter are all of the, in the end, like, why couldn't you just do this? Or I've done all of this for you. All of those things were not being presented in the beginning. And still you increase the stakes, Sure, let's sign our names on this apartment, baby. Let's increase the stakes. Let's make it harder to get away from each other when we don't feel like doing this anymore, right? All of these things that continue to increase the stakes. And some people really, like, guys, if I had a nickel for every time I heard somebody knew someone, even if it was just like a coworker at work or something like that was just like, I'm kind of like stuck in this situation because, like, New York rent is crazy. And until I can really find a new roommate or something else, it's easier to just stay with this person. Why do that to yourself? This is supposed to be the fun part, right? Isn't dating supposed to be the fun part where you start to learn these things? So before I increase the stakes, I make sure you're someone who has the ability to follow through on them, that I can trust to, persevere with me as life begins to life. Like, isn't that what you're supposed to be from jump? No one is vetting anyone anymore. You're not vetting anyone. We have this like social media world where now you just think that people of quality come by the bucket load, and it's not that, right? It's not that. And a lot of people are just out here settling and then complaining and wanting more instead of taking at face value what it is you're receiving. And I love that thing that's going around, like this meme that keeps going around, or like these videos that keep going around on Instagram, where people just keep reiterating this sentiment of your bank account is a reflection of your actual standard you have for your money, your career, like your finances. Your relationship is your actual standard, okay? Not just what you think about and want, or talk about, but that is the hardcore evidence and proof of your actual factual standard of what you expect and are willing to accept in a relationship. So think about that. Like, you say you want one thing, but what is the standard you're actually keeping? What are the boundaries you're actually holding with other individuals or with the other individual in the relationship? What does that really look like? And then really ask yourself, because guys, I know these things be distracting us, baby, okay? You could get lost in the rabbit hole before. You look down, you look back up at the clock, and you're like, where did 3 hours go? Okay? So cut off the distractions and really spend some time with yourself, because everybody wants a wedding. This is another thing me and my cousin were talking about. Like, everyone wants a wedding and nobody really wants a marriage. No one really thinks about the day after. You see, that's how we know That's how we know. That's the sound of the relationships falling. I just knocked a whole bunch of shit over. It's fine. No one really wants those things. Or no, and I don't even want to say doesn't want them, but no one is preparing for them. No one is actually trying to co-create a life that happens the day after this beautiful big ceremony. What happens on Tuesday, baby? On a regular Tuesday. What happens on Tuesday, my loves? After everybody's gone home, party's over, we're back to work, back into our daily routines. What does your relationship look like? And if what you have right now is not satisfying to you, is not nourishing you, it's not even appealing to you, why on earth do you even want a wedding? Because the wedding is a tiny little fraction, a snapshot moment into what comes after that, right? Like, why not vet the person? And then like people are quick, which is also baffling to me. Like, we're quick to have children with each other, but everyone's afraid of marriage. And I'm like, that is just so backwards to me. And not from a religious standpoint, like you should be married before you have kids. I don't care. I'm a product of like a out of wedlock union, right? I'm happy to be here. Thankful for breath of life, darling, okay? But what I mean by that is I'm just saying, let's say I don't want to deal with you anymore. It's still a headache. This is still high stakes to get a divorce, baby. And it's going to run your pockets, okay? But let's say we don't have kids, baby. As soon as I sign these papers, Sayonara, baby. Deuces, I'm gone. You don't have to see me again. We don't have to see each other again. Go live your best life. Shout out to you. Most definitely shout out to me. Goodbye. Right? But you have kids with somebody, baby, I got to see you. And especially when they're small. Here we go. Drop-offs and pickups. You got to be in my face, sir. Oh, you think it ends there? When they're grown? Guess who's coming to the wedding? Guess who's got to be at the wedding? Darling? Guess who's gonna be at the birthdays, darling? Guess who's gonna be at the grandkids' birthday parties, darling? You wanna see that motherfucker forever? Gosh, said I wasn't gonna curse. Damn. I know, so many hypergamous women would be like, oh, so low class. I'm sorry, whatever. I'm also just me, y'all. But really, honestly, truly, think about that. I don't know where, especially men, like I don't know how they just feel like having a kid is not that big a commitment, but getting married, well, slow your roll, lady. I can't. To me, that those are actions of a dusty, as actions of a man who doesn't really want to plan for real structure. And let's say you don't want to get married. I'm gonna give it to y'all. Let's say you just don't want to get married at all. But does that person still think about longevity, legacy, structure, cohesion, meshing your lives together for real, really creating a family cohort and unit? Like, because if not, it's hard to start trying to work that out after the fact. Like, are you even in this? Like, do you want a family structure? Like, even if we're not together, are you going to show up for these little people we made? Like, the stakes increase. And baby, when the chips fall, all of those things are still on the line. And it usually falls on the backs of women. And I feel like we need to live a softer life, my darlings. We do. Because a lot of men are coasting right now. And you deserve a softer life. You deserve to be in your receiving mode. You deserve for someone to take something off your plate instead of having an entire other child to look after and push. Let's see what else I wrote, because I done went on a tangent, baby. Oh, I said, if you are still having to make moves and figure out life like you're alone, you are in a situationship, baby. There's no two ways about it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How do you classify it as anything else? How is it a real relationship? Is that how the person who's not showing up for it really views it? Because if they did, well, what's going on there? Because that math ain't mathing, baby. You know what I'm saying? I think it's time we think about ourselves and we think about what it is we really want. What is really going to nourish us, and not just have people around a space filler just to say you're not alone, just to say, being in a toxic relationship or a situationship is not a flex. Just being able to say you have someone is not a flex. Being able to say that I love myself and I show up for myself and I don't let anyone else shortchange me, and look at this person who came into my life and doesn't shortchange me, is a flex. And it's not to say that a healthy relationship equals a perfect relationship. There's no such thing. I'm not trying to sell you some utopian hearts and puppies and horseshoes and rainbows and unicorns fantasy land here, okay? But a healthy relationship is not that either. A healthy relationship is not some, magical, mystical, mythical thing, And my cousin was saying, it might be boring to some people, it might be boring. It does mean that it's quite uneventful, because there aren't all of these fireworks and moments, and everything's always on the line. There's always a crisis happening that you got to figure out alone. Yeah, it's not going to be that, or, really intense arguments, or all that toxic, delicious novella shit that people love, right? That we have to start saying no to. We got to start saying no, thank you, because it's not beneficial to anyone, least of all us ladies. Okay? I said, if there is no real connection or foundation between you, y'all are just dealing with attachment issues. I did already touch on that. I said, if all y'all do is fight and fuck or chill and fuck with no connection or solid plans that he is actively working towards, I don't care what the stakes are, you are in a situationship. And it's true. Don't get strung along as a placeholder. Don't be in this eternal state. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna find the woman's name, because y'all need to go follow her, okay? I don't think she needs my help with no followers, baby, but y'all need to subscribe and follow her, because her shorts are everything. I'm just like, yes, thank you, algorithm, for sending her to me, because she is just giving a word all the time. I'm gonna pull it up before I get off this video, because she said something to that effect of like, don't be a placeholder girlfriend. Don't be a long-term girlfriend, because it is a matter of fact, I'm gonna post some of her videos to my stories on my IG. So follow me over there, baby. It's in the description, okay? But yeah, stop doing that to yourself, because then we kick ourselves, ladies, and we're so mad at him when he'll string you along for years and 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 years. And then when y'all split, in 6 months, he's marrying the next one. And you want to know why? Because she had standards. Because she wasn't showing up like no wife without a ring, without an actual wedding. And she wasn't showing up for any of those things without the vetting of, yeah, but you better be showing up like this. You better really make me believe that this is what it is. You better have actual proof about this is what it's going to be after that wedding date. Because if not, I'm gone. I'm not afraid to walk away early. I'm not afraid to peace out on you and hit the block button. And that is entirely the difference, y'all. Y'all be mad at these women. Y'all be mad at these women. And you need to be mad at yourself. Or you need to be mad And yeah, at yourself. I was going to say at these men, but really. Because those men have standards, okay? Those men have standards. Stop doing the things you're doing for them. Bet you they won't be there. Bet you they'll be singing another tune. Stop doing all the things you're doing for them if they're not doing anything for you. Because when you start doing less, when they start doing less and you start doing more, it's over. Yikes. Start doing less and see if they start doing more. See if they roll reverse with you when you start doing less. See if they start doing more. They're the male peacocks are the ones with the feathers, ladies. They need to be doing the impressing, the courting. I'm telling you. And what was the last thing I said? Oh, because there's another thing that woman touched upon. I'm going to get you guys her name. And that made me think of this. Take him at his actions and not at his word. Y'all, this is like clutch. And I'm going to leave the video on this. Take him at his actions, not at his word, okay? His word is only solidified through action, babe. I'm going to say that again. His word is only solidified through his action, babe. Period. I don't want to hear, oh, he's going to do better. Oh, yeah. Did he do it, though? Did he do it, though? His word should only, I put that shit in caps, y'all. I don't even know if you can see it. Only. His word should only be taken seriously after, then I put after in caps, baby. After he follows through on it. Baby, I'm going to read that whole thing again because that's where we got to leave it. And then I'm going to get you her name. But baby, this is the Holy Grail. This is clutch, okay? Take him at his actions and not at his word. His word is only solidified through action, babe. His word should only be taken seriously after he follows through on it. Period. 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 Okay? Period. And with that, my loves, let me find this wonderful woman. This wonderful, wonderful woman. I'm on my Instagram, so actually, let me just check my Instagram. I'm subscribed to her on YouTube as well, and then I found her on Instagram to follow her because I was like, I gotta be able to share this to my Instagram too, because it's just a word after a word after a word. Natalie Clarice, baby. Natalie Clarice, and on Instagram she's Natalie Clarice Love Notes. Natalie Clarice, baby. Natalie Clarice. She's got a word. I just be like, yes, Natalie, you get it. Yeah, and it's just Natalie Clarice here on YouTube. So baby, go check her out. Go catch you a word. Raise your standards. Keep your boundaries high and actually walk that talk and follow through on them, ladies. I know we have been programmed to do otherwise, but something's got to give, and it's going to have to be us. We're going to have to give up our prior pick-me belief systems and mentalities, our own self-limiting beliefs and our own issues with attachment, with self-love and self-worth and our feelings of deserving proper treatment. We need to elevate what we expect and actually vet the people that have the privilege to come into our lives. Okay, my loves? And so with that, I'm wishing you mad love and many blessings. You count, you matter, you are important, you are seen, you are heard, you are worthy, you are deserving, you are magic, baby. Go get up in it. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Later.